We're now joined by Wole Ojawale, Regional Organized Crime Observatory Coordinator for Central Africa at the Institute for Security Studies. He is based in Dakar, Senegal, where he joins us live from. Mr. Wole, what are your thoughts about the decision by ECOWAS to activate a standby force for possible deployment in Niger?
Thank you so much, Penina. I think the starting point is to underscore the fact that ECOWAS have taken that decision to demonstrate that it is not just a dog that can bark, it can actually bite. Looking at the experiences of how the negotiation has become protracted in Guinea, in Mali, Burkina Faso, and to the newcomer in the bloc now, the junta in Niger. ECOWAS want to demonstrate that as much as it can rely on diplomatic solution, it can also use the deployment of force to weed these people into correction. And the decision now lies in the realm of strategic ambiguity because you don't reveal all your strategic plan in the case of war to your enemy. So ECOWAS has taken that position to demonstrate its strength and capability in restoring democracy in Niger.
Okay, so what is the likely composition of this ECOWAS standby force, given that not all member states support military intervention in Niger?
I think largely we can only say it is only the 4 countries of Guinea, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger that are on the other side now. The other countries are on the side of democracy. And the composition of the standby force is going to be according to the ratio in terms of the military capability of each of the countries, in terms of military infrastructure and personnel. Of course, Nigeria is going to take the lead in that regard, and then other big countries like Senegal, like Ivory Coast, like Ghana are going to make strategic contribution to the military planning and execution if we have to go in that direction.
Now, the last time ECOWAS successfully intervened in a member state and enabled the removal of a leader was in Gambia. What similarities or differences do you see in the dynamics around the coup in Niger?
Well, I think there are no really similarities, but there are differences. In the case of Gambia, we had a president who contested election and lost the election and didn't want to vacate power. And ECOWAS need to move into the deployment of force. But in that case, the difference here is that Gambia is probably, Niger is probably maybe 10 times of Gambia. And that shows that there's going to be an uphill task for military operation in the country. When you look at the relative success and the fact that there was really no military pushback in the case of Gambia. But this time around, there's a pushback. And 2 to 3 other countries are also now, demonstrating military solidarity in the case Niger is attacked. So that creates a convoluted state that is really, really complex for military operation as it stands now.
Right, we've had Mali and Burkina Faso say that should ECOWAS send a military force in Niger, they will consider it an act of aggression. So if these 2 countries, Mali and Burkina Faso, rally around the coup leaders in Niger as pledged, what risks will the ECOWAS standby force have to deal with?
ECOWAS will have to deal with the complexity of having to combat 3 to 4 countries at a go. When you look at the stretch of the coup belt now, from Guinea to Mali to Burkina Faso and Niger, that is a very vast expanse of land if they have to go in the direction of military operation. And the other thing is that we are not also too sure whether the countries are just making mere military rhetorics or they can really back it up for obvious reasons. One, these are the same countries that have not been able to combat terrorism and insurgency successfully in those countries. So are they going to be withdraw their military from such counter-terrorism operation to now face a full-scale war? If it is in that direction, then ECOWAS is going to have a very hard experience to deal with in this case of Niger, possible deployment of force. And the other thing is that the whole environment can become a convoluted state in the sense that even if ECOWAS successfully push back the junta out of Niamey, they might become a new rebel that is going to create a new layer of insurgency that is going to cause serious complications for security operation and instability in the entire Sahel.
Wow. So just throwing in one more question there, Wole. So given the dynamics you've described, what then looks like the best likely scenario of dealing with what's happening in Niger?
The best scenario now is to follow the path of negotiation, diplomatic solution, because you need to consider the potential humanitarian consequence of a full-scale war. Although some people are of the opinion that probably ECOWAS just want to do strategic invasion of Niger. That is not clear now, like I said earlier, that it lies in the realm of strategic ambiguity. But for the potential humanitarian consequence, ECOWAS should rather continue to explore the path of diplomatic solution and negotiation.
We appreciate those insights. Thank you. Wole Ojawale, live for us in Dakar, Senegal.